All right, hello Kai. I know you asked me if I had some videos already pre-made. I do have a couple of them, but none are as thorough as what I'm going to show you right here. And then I also recommend that you look up Dogen's titanium ankles. That was the old school ankle rehab strengthening tool back in the day. And I'd also look up functional range conditioning, FRC ankles. If you just type in FRC ankles or pails and rails ankles, you will get a lot of information on that too. I'll go through it a little bit in here, but this is my full encompass ankle rehab stuff based on what you need. So I have no idea what injury you had or how you sustained it, but considering you're in the rehabilitation part of it now, that's good because that means that we can probably throw some other things at it. First one you want to do, okay, which you probably already have done, and I don't know what you've been prescribed yet, but obviously eliminate the things you've already done. The first thing is that if you can do it without pain, do more of it, all right? Anytime you have pain, go around it. Now, there's a difference between discomfort and pain, right? Pain would be something maybe you'd wince at. Discomfort would be something that you just would not feel too great about doing, but it's not something that's going to feel like it's going to injure you farther. We don't want to go deeper into the injury. But simple ankle rotations all the way around are obviously going to be your first wave of defense, right? Simple ankle rotations all the way around. And just making sure you're going as big of a circle as possible. And the more you can kind of tense the muscles up around the ankle as you rotate it around, the more you're going to get out of this. If you just kind of just randomly twirl it around like this lightly, you're not going to get a whole lot from that. Maybe at first you will. But the more you kind of squeeze and really pull the ankle into those different areas, kind of like you're moving through syrup or something really thick, the better off that's going to be for you, all right? So that's the first thing you want to think about. The second thing would be based on where you're at with strengthening it are some basic TheraBand exercises, right? You probably have already seen the one where you place the TheraBand or exercise band over the ball of the foot. You pull back on it until you feel a stretch back here in the calf, and then you're going to push to the ball of the foot and then the toes, right? So if I'm from the side here, push to the ball of the foot first so the toes are stretched back, and then push to the toes second. And then I reverse that. Ball of the foot, toes, toes, ball of the foot, ball of the foot, toes, toes, ball of the foot. Also do that with your foot turned into a semi-supinated position here, where you're pushing to the ball of the foot, then the toes, and back, push to the ball of the foot, then the toes, and back. And then also try to do it where you're pronated. So you saw that I turned my foot, I sickled it this way, and I go through that same thing. And I'm also going to turn it the other way, so I'm trying to push it outward, all right, and go through that one, which is going to be a lot harder because we don't have as much range in that area. You do that same exact idea, but you grab to the side here, and then you're going to, sorry, right here. I'm jumping ahead at the moment. I'm going to pull to the side and wrap it around my other foot. So then this position going this way will pull the foot this direction, and from there I'll be able to go out to the side that way. Okay, don't go too quick, try to go slow at first and then go into faster motions. You can take that opposite foot, pull it to the other side. This was a little trick here. And then you pull the foot away that way. And then lastly, you can bring the foot across to here and flex the foot upward. All right, and that's the way you can self-administer that. Another one is to do, you can either do this with your own hand, with the TheraBand itself, or something called a resistance band or a compression band or a voodoo floss band. But the goal is to tighten up around the ankle as hard as you can and then go through your rotations. All right, or you can go through, like you can hold on with one hand, kind of give it some compression while pushing with the other. It's easier to do that with the compression band. You're going to wrap this around your foot. And then you want to create tension. So you're getting it to stretch. And I'm going to wrap that all the way around. around the back, and I'm going from the most distal part of my foot as much as I can, and then I'm going to wrap it upward so it's pushing everything toward the heart. Now, I already wrote something about this, I already made a little video about this, the compression band work, because I showed you doing compression band work on every one of my joints, but with this one, the same idea goes into play. You want to go through your rotations, and what this band is going to do is it's going to cause a little bit of gapping in your ankle joint, giving it more space. It's also pushing all the blood out, and it's causing the tissues to rub against each other, which might help to break up some scar tissue, all right? So I'm just going to do that for a while. I go through my points, my flexes, okay? Walk around the house, apartment, whatever, okay? Going through some ankle mobility work here, okay? Go through some ankle positions here, to the side, inward. Just play with every motion you can and really get that moving around. And I just keep it on until I'm like pretty much become frustrated with it being on there, all right? Or if you feel like your toes are going numb or anything along those kind of lines, right? So there's that one. You can do those same exercises I just showed, obviously going through flexion there, going to the side, the other side to the back. Z Health, Z-Health has a lot of information on that too, Z Health. But you can do that compression band work with the TheraBand too. It's just a little bit harder because it's not as small and it tends to just not be as tight. So that's the band work, okay? Other things you can do that are going to be kind of more working into the fascia and other things along those kind of lines. One of them is you can use a broomstick. Okay, if you don't have a broomstick, you can use a stick from outside, or you can use another. I literally broke this off a tree outside. Okay, any kind of a roller, and all you're going to do is put it right beneath the arch of your foot and work through that arch. Work to the outside of the arch. Okay, work every part of it that you can. Spend about at least a minute to 5 minutes in each position. All right, the broomstick works pretty well in getting all these different areas. You can do the same thing on a lacrosse ball. I like the lacrosse ball because you can pinpoint stuff a little easier. Okay, rolling that out, all different spots there. You can use a little bit bigger branch like one I found outside. It doesn't roll as well, but it still gets me some rolling action in different spots. Or I have this little mini branch right here, which lets me really get into some small little spots on the ball of my foot, or on my arch as well, the outside of the blade, right? All those different spots, working through them, again, about a minute to 5 minutes of work in those areas is going to help to relax and kind of get some, it's called reflexology, working inside your ankle. But that's another great one to work as well. And then you also have, if you have like 2 yoga blocks and a board, okay, you can work on adding some angles to your position here. So a great way to work this is just try to do a squat or a lunge with your foot in different positions. Okay, so I have my foot forward here, and I'm going to try to do a lunge, and obviously this is as far as it can go, and then I'll let my heel come up if it has to come up, right? Or I might just go just as far as there, and go there. I'll turn my foot out, try to do the same thing. I'll go forward. Okay, it's okay if your knee doesn't track over the toes all the time. Okay, I'll do this from the side as well. From here, I'll try to lunge down. Okay, keep my weight in that front leg. I'll try going the other way, my foot facing this way. Okay, different positions there, and even downhill, right? In this position here, going downhill. All right, everything along those kind of lines will be useful. And of course, on flat ground, you can put your foot into these are called the walks, pretty much. They're called ankle drills, but you can walk across the floor on the outsides of your ankles. That'll be very useful. On the insides of your ankles, okay, on the ball of your foot, and then also with toes up, that direction, right? Toes are up, like that. So that, again, is on the outsides of the feet, the insides of the feet, the ball of the foot, and toes up, so you're balancing like that. Some other ones would be feet turned in or feet turned out in all those same positions. Let's see. Oh, and then lastly I have a couple things you can do for more reflexology kind of stuff. I have a bunch of rocks here. I'm going to bring you a little closer. Technology. All right, so I have a bunch of rocks right here. I just went outside and grabbed a handful of rocks. And there's a couple things you can do with this one is just stand on the rocks so that they're pushing into different parts of your foot. If you just go into these rocking motions, where your feet are getting pushed into on the bottom, okay, you get this kind of deep tissue massage from the rocks beneath it, and that really helps to break up some scar tissue and kind of mobilize that foot. You can see how my toes are getting pushed in different positions. It's pushing the bones up in different parts of my foot. All right, and that's a really, really great thing. That's why trail walking, hiking on trails or rails is really, really good for you, because it gets you into those positions you wouldn't normally get on flat ground. And the other thing would be try to pick them up with your toes. This is a big one. What have I done? Try to pick them up with your toes. Did I get it? Come on, Will. I must win. It's a game. I chose a rock. That's aha. Oh. Anyway, try to pick these guys up with your toes. All right. I'm going to pick a smaller one just for the demonstration purposes. I picked too big of a one for what I'm trying to do here. But just this alone is going to not just make it your ankle better, but it puts it in novel positions. Yeah, I got one. And I put it in the bucket, right? And I'll just try to do that with every single one of them if I can over time. And this sends a lot of great novel positions into the foot, right? And so it's just working different positions you wouldn't normally get and can help kind of rehab those areas without thinking about it. You can even pick up sticks, which is even more fun. And I didn't get in the bucket. So you have that, right? And then also with lacrosse balls, there's this other special one you could do. Put it underneath the big ball of the foot, okay? And from there, you're going to do these rockings where you rock into it and it pushes up this bone right here. Okay, you can rock into it in that position. I usually do about 100 rocks, 50 to 100 rocks, okay? Then do it on the outside ball, so the one under the pinky toe. And then also, you want to do it into the heel. That's a little hard. Okay, so you do it into the heel, but you can't push down the same way. So you can't push down like here and here. So with the heel, you kind of just have to rock it in place and do these little circles. Okay, and you can also get into the arch with that one too, right, in that position. See if there's anything else. We went over the banded exercises. We went over the compression band, voodoo flossing. We did the angle, the wedging position. We did the stick rollout, did the rocks and the crossball. So the only other thing left is FRC itself, functional range conditioning. And what I'm going to have you do, so long as you don't feel pain in the position, is you're going to come down into the deepest lunge angle you possibly can with your heel down. All right, and then you're going to hold that position for 1:30, 90 seconds, or 2 minutes even, right? So you hold that position there, let that stretch out. You're going to wait there. You might feel some burning sensations in the bottom of your feet. That's also because the blood's getting pushed out because you're staying there for so long. And it's also because you're starting to stretch the fascia. Fascia only starts to stretch or come apart at the 1:30 to 2 minute mark. It doesn't mean it's super separation. It's just when it's responding to what you're doing. So we're going to be holding that position, okay? And then at the 90 second mark, you are going to push into the floor really, really hard, flexing down, almost like you're pushing a gas pedal down, or when you were doing the exercise band work. You're going to push down 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then you're going to reverse it, and you're going to lift up as hard as you can. You can even back off a little bit and come off like that. So you get a strong flexion through here and really squeeze as hard as you can, and then go back down into the stretch. So that was a 90 second hold or 2 minute hold, 10 second push, 10 second pull, then go back into the stretch again for another 30 seconds. All right? And you're going to repeat that after 30 seconds. Push as hard as you can, flex as hard as you can, and repeat that. And when you're doing the push and the flex, squeeze every other part of your body. So this, you should be pushing down it, squeezing and holding as hard as you can, everything. Okay, and that's called irradiation. And it helps to send more neural, not neural feedback, afferent feedback. I forget the proper term for it, but it's more of a neural load to the area, okay, and it kind of acts the same way that weight training would be, except that you're more in control of the resistance you're putting into it, okay? After you're done with that, just go ahead and bring it through some deep, deep ankle rotations afterward, okay? All I got left for you is the ice and heat thing, all right? Now, I'm iffy with the ice and heat thing, but in some extreme cases, I think it's really useful. So you fill a bucket up with ice water, okay? Which means a lot of ice and cold water, and you have a hot water, all right? And you're gonna put that foot in the cold water until it's unbearable, right? To the point where you feel it like biting to the bone, okay? You take that out, put it inside the hot water until it feels better. And you're gonna repeat that back and forth, back and forth. I just keep doing it, but most of the times you can do it like 5 times. Finish with the ice, not with the heat. All right, and what it'll do is that'll contract and also dilate the veins, arteries, tissues, everything in that area to kind of help pump blood in and out of there and facilitate getting rid of scar tissue and unnecessary inflammation that's in there. Another tool you can use for getting some more of that, gosh, I just remembered the term for it, intrinsic muscle control, which can obviously help to free up your ankle too, because the stronger the base of the foot is, from the toes through the foot muscles, the more the ankle might start to release and be a little more comfortable with that, right? So you've probably seen this one before. This one is you're using your toes to crunch up a towel and move them towards you. All right, as best you can. You can use any size towel you want. Okay, and if you want to make it harder, you can put a little weight at the end of it to pull that towards you as well. You can also go the other way, where you're pushing it away. It's a little bit harder because once it gets curled up underneath your foot there, it becomes really difficult to move it in that manner. All right, so you have that one. And the other one, okay, and these are going more toward the ankle strengthening areas, is to do a slow eccentric. And eccentric just means going downward. It's a negative muscle, not negative, but you get what I mean. Eccentric, okay? Lowering down against gravity. So you start at the top here in a calf raised position, and you're going to lower slowly and let that heel drop down beneath it, okay? Come back to the top, put your foot down, back to the ball of the foot, as high as you can, and lower slowly, let your heel drop down behind. And then repeat. You can go back up too, if you want to, from the ground up, but this is just working the eccentric, lowering down, just do it until your ankle can't do it anymore, and that would be the strength training for the day for that. This is obviously the last wave of defense you really want to do once your ankle's feeling a lot better. You can also do these with bounces too, but that's, again, this is later down the line, these bounces where the heel drops below and you rebound back up. This is like the end, right? The end of that kind of work before you start to get back to the bigger training and jumping. Let's see. That's the main thing, and I'll also include some videos from Rafe Kelly, which I think are really useful. And I'll put some links in there to Dogen's like titanium ankles, Z Health, and functional range conditioning. All right, buddy, that's all I got for you. Thanks.